Summary of The Hollow of the Three Hills by Nathaniel Hawthorne. A lovely young woman and a withering old crone meet at an appointed hour in a dark hollow between three hills as the October sun sets. The old woman tells the young woman that they can only stay here for an hour, so she needs to get to the point quickly. The young woman says that she doesn't come from this country, but that it doesn't matter. She is here because she left her family and friends, and she can never see them again. She couldn't get rid of the feeling of guilt, so she went to the hole to see how they were doing. The old woman tells the young woman that she will get the information she wants before the sun goes down, and the young woman decides to do what the old woman says, even though it will kill her. Now that they have agreed, the young woman lies down with her head on the legs of the old woman. The old woman puts a robe over the face of the young woman and starts to chant a dark spell. Soon, the girl starts to hear noises. Even though they were hard to make out at first, they became clearer and clearer until she could make out the whole scene: a running clock, the roar of a fire, and the voices of a man and a woman who were sad. The man and woman talk sad about their lost daughter, who has made their family look bad and will do so until they die. They also talk about a second, more recent bad thing that happened, but the wind drowns out their words. The picture makes the young woman feel bad, but there's more to come. Again, the old woman pulls her robe over the face of the young woman and starts to pray. Soon, the young woman hears a second scene, in which chains clank and a lot of people scream, laugh, and cry at the same time. Eventually, the young woman can make out the voice of a man who cries out to anyone who will listen about his wife, who broke her wedding vows and left their home. But the screams and shouts of the people around him quickly drown out his words, and their sounds again fade into the wind. The old woman asks the young woman if she ever thought that a madhouse would be so full of happiness. The young woman says that there is happiness and sadness. The old woman says that there is only one more image left. She covers the young woman's face for the third and last time and starts her spell. The young woman can now hear the sad ringing of a church bell, which gets louder until she can make out the sounds of a funeral parade led by a priest reading burial rites. Even though the mourners aren't talking out loud, there are rumors that a daughter left her parents, a wife cheated her husband, and a mother left her child to die. Now that the old woman has seen her last vision, she tries to wake up the young woman, but she is no longer moving. The old woman smiles and laughs to herself.
About the author. Nathaniel Hawthorne was born and raised in Salem, Massachusetts. He was a direct son of John Hawthorne, a well-known Puritan who was a Maine judge in the Salem witch trials. Hawthorne went with his mother and sister to live with cousins after his father died of yellow fever in 1808. At 17, Hawthorne went to Bowdoin College against his will because his uncle told him to. He didn't like school, but he finished in 1825. Then he went back to Salem, where he worked as an editor for a short time and wrote a number of short stories in local magazines. Many of these stories were later put together in his book Twice Told Tales. In 1836, he met and fell in love with Sophia Peabody, an artist and transcendentalist. Hawthorne invested in Brook Farm, a transcendentalist utopian village where he spent most of his time moving manure, so he could get money for their wedding. After less than a year, he left the group because all the hard work left him with no time or energy to write. In 1850, Hawthorne began the most wealthy and successful time of his career. In the next 3 years, he published 3 books and 3 collections of short stories. After this, however, Hawthorne's old friend and student, President Franklin Pierce, gave him the job of U.S. Consul in Liverpool. It took Hawthorne another 7 years to write his 4th and final book, The Marble Faun. Hawthorne's health got worse quickly in 1863, and what little he wrote during this time was hard to understand. A year later, at age 59, he died.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.